Disruption is a key military tactic that we can use to dismantle an enemy. And in the UK, there are unsung heroes doing exactly that, protecting the public from crime and harm. Okay, so today we're with Trading Standards and Kent Police. It's a combined operation going against illegal tobacco and vapes. They're hiding the tobacco in hides, but we will find it. We've got the dogs, we'll be out there. Stand by.
Trading Standards have intel to suggest several local shops are selling counterfeit tobacco, which they're hiding on their premises. Some of the Trading Standards team work covertly, so must hide their identities.
Today is all about disruption. We're there to disrupt the illegal sale of these goods. We want to go in there, we want to try and do everything we can whilst we're in there.
They have a list of shops to visit and specific intel on some.
Intel has come in very, very recently on that one, that tobacco is being sold under the counter. Apparently the locals go in and ask for DFS. So if you go in there and ask for DFS, you get illicit tobacco.
This seems quite a big problem. Are these all interlinked, or are these all acting individuals? How's this working? Is this a gang?
The illicit tobacco is very much an enabling crime, so it leads on to other things.
Yeah. What sort of money are they making from this?
A couple of years ago, the estimate was £25,000 a week.
Wow.
There are two main kinds of illicit tobacco we are after. Smuggled tobacco that hasn't had the duty paid on it, and counterfeit or fake tobacco that looks like a well-known brand, but it isn't. But today, some cunning specialists are being deployed to hunt the hidden tobacco. Stuart, the dog handler, can tell me more.
H2, nice to meet you. I'm Billy. What's the deal here? What do we have and how do these guys work?
So basically these dogs are for our operation today with Trading Standards. We've got a tobacco dog, Cooper.
Okay.
A cash dog, Maggie. So she's trained to find banknotes. And we'll also be using Griff today, who's a tobacco, and he also sniffs out vapes as well. So primarily they're used to find concealments in shops, which human search teams can't find.
So like we call it back in the SAS caches, purposed hides,
Exactly.
perfect hides.
Yeah.
And these guys are pretty good at that?
Yeah, we've had phenomenal success.
And what sort of results are you getting with your dogs?
We are finding, on a weekly basis, maybe 150, 200, 250,000 pounds worth a week.
Pounds worth?
Yeah.
Wow.
Counterfeit cigarettes have been found to have higher levels of metal than well-known brands, and even substances like weed killer and excrement. I'm heading to the first target store with Kent Police Officer Vicky. The numbers say that 5.5 billion illicit cigarettes were sold in the UK in 1 year, and nearly 2.5 billion pounds of tax was evaded by illegal tobacco as a whole.
So, that barbershop is linked here. You ready?
Yep.
Hello. Hello.
How you doing?
Yes, all right, thank you. Are you working in the shop? That's not Trading Standards. We're doing some visits in the area at the moment. We're doing some checks on your vapes to make sure they're compliant, make sure they're not illegal vapes.
Sure.
We're also going to be searching the shop for illegal tobacco as well, okay? I've also got a sniff dog with me, so they're going to be coming around. You okay with dogs? Yeah? Fabulous.
Tobacco dog Griff is the first in to use his nose. And whilst Griff goes to work, the team look through an assortment of products, including chewing tobacco and vapes. There's an update. Griff the dog has had a hit.
They have found.
Already?
Yes.
Look.
It's horrible out here. All I can smell is rubbish.
So disguised amongst all the trash, as you can see, we're actually inside. That's what you find. So that's that wheelie bin, and a second one over here.
Illicit cigarettes and vapes hidden away from prying eyes.
Oh, wasn't there that?
But they didn't fool the dog's nose.
Yeah, more vapes.
So this is a preempted sort of hide, hidden in the wheelie bins, just disguised as rubbish. Hoping that obviously the dogs can't come out here because of the smell and won't pick it up, and it's just hidden away.
These look like illegal vapes, and the cigarettes look smuggled, meaning no tax gets paid over to the exchequer as a result. And illicit sellers like this can undercut legitimate traders. And dog handler Stuart has found a phone with trade messages on it.
Look, all right, mate, can I grab 2,800 Richmond, 14 sleeves?
Wow. He's got a smoking problem.
Can pick up from you this Friday at 4. Look at this. Mobile phone.
Yep.
All right, mate, can I grab 2,800 Richmond, 14 sleeves?
Oh, wow.
The trading standards team have found multiple illicit items. Good work by Griff the dog, but a bad morning for the shopkeeper. These products are now all being bagged up.
So that's the first task, almost coming to an end. Went straight in, straight out the back, found a load of illegal vapes and cigarettes hidden in the wheelie bins amongst all the rubbish. And now we're bagging everything up for evidence, which will be used as evidence against these people. And that's taken off the street. First task, first job, great strike.
We're off to a second target now, and I'm curious to challenge myself. Can I find hidden cigarettes as well as a sniffer dog? I'm back out with trading standards and the police in Kent, hunting for illegal tobacco. We found cigarettes hidden in a rubbish bin already, and Officer Vicky says gathering intel from locals is vital to finding the fake cigarettes.
Like when we're actually in the community, people want to tell us stuff. They want to tell us information. They want like the criminality to stop in their area.
This is another shop where local intel suggests counterfeits are for sale. And dog handler Stu is straight in with tobacco dog Cooper.
Trading standards?
Yeah.
We're just doing an inspection here today.
Yeah. Right, sir.
Hello?
Hello.
Anyone round the back?
We're here for tobacco, but trading standards immediately spot illegal vapes.
Already these are all totally illegal.
Yeah, you got 9,000 puffs, ones that imitate food and drink products, 4,000 puffs, 9,000, 15,000.
There should only be 2 mills, about 600 puffs. And a man who appears to be working here is telling Vicky he's in fact not working here.
Listen to me.
Yeah.
Your shop is open and you are taking money for products.
No, I'm not taking money for nothing.
So if I was to walk in here now, you're going to give me a free vape?
No, I can't do that.
I think he's lying. But we're here to find illegal tobacco. And off camera, Cooper the dog has made a find in the back room. I want to test myself. Can I figure out where the tobacco's hidden?
So again, what we're looking for is what we call a cache in the SS, an hiding place. So you're looking for anything that looks out the ordinary, a different colour tone, a different sound, or anything that just grabs your attention. And then once you see that, then it's a further investigation, and hopefully that will locate it. I'm looking for anything. Here we go.
I think this part of the floor is suspect. But is this where Cooper thinks there might be tobacco?
So what we do now, like we would in the regiment, we'd call in the dogs, the experts. The dog would come in and hopefully that'll give us confirmation. Cooper, what have I got?
Oops, not where I thought.
Up here. Cooper's indicating something at the back of here.
It's just a wall, isn't it?
Bingo.
That's why dogs are used by everyone, from the army to trading standards.
Well done, Cooper, that's your job done. Good boy. And that is a reward for good work.
But the hides aren't just to full trading standards. Rival tobacco gangs might target the shops too, for easy plunder. Stuart the dog handler is used to hides like this.
Legal tobacco, hand-rolling tobacco, cigarettes. There's going to be counterfeit stuff in there and smuggled stuff. Yeah, so this is counterfeit, fake. It'll be a mixture, but nice little find. I would imagine that's probably a day's worth in there, just a day.
But the government will receive no duty from them, and the more dangerous counterfeit ones will be bought in cheaply and sold for a massive profit. And what about this man who says he's just volunteering here?
You're working?
I'm voluntary here, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you prove that to me then?
Like how?
Don't know?
Yeah, I'm voluntary here. I said it.
So how many hours a day do you volunteer?
Like 6 hours. You know, I won't.
Have you got any idea?
No, no me.
I can't find you on the system.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not going to help you right now.
Vicky is suspicious, but keeps the man talking whilst Cash Dog Molly searches for money.
At the minute, you're running rings round us because you keep lying. I don't think that you're volunteering here, and I think are known maybe to the police at some point.
That's you thinking about or you judge on me? Because
I'm not judging you.
Yeah, because I'm volunteering.
And I've asked you to prove that to me, and you said how.
Despite what he says, police suspect this man is running the shop. Intel reveals he had an asylum claim turned down, which affects his working status.
He's the only person here. If he was volunteering, then you would imagine that there would be somebody here. It's all the factors that come with it. He's got a key to the premises. He says that his boss has given him a place to stay, that he's been fed off the back of it. So there's a lot of things that would add up to me to suggest that it's probably not as it seems.
Police don't believe the man's story, but the priority for them is the tobacco.
Another great job done. Dogs came up trumps alongside the trading standards. There's the result. All that is now off the street. Fantastic.
But the team have received further intel on another shop that may be selling even larger quantities of dangerous products. Back out in Kent, the team are heading to another shop that's suspected of selling illegal tobacco.
So this is the suspected location now. The team have just gone in and we're going to go in and see what's going down.
What we're doing today is we're going to do a little search of your shop. We're going to specifically look for vapes to make sure they're compliant, and also for any tobacco that you're selling, so cigarettes, hand-rolled tobacco, things like that.
Griff the tobacco dog is immediately in and searching. His nose is guiding him downstairs.
So that's the team now going through like a dose of salt. Basically, they've already identified all the vapes in the top there, all illegal. They're all over 4,000, 15,000 puffs, which is totally illegal.
The legal 2 mil size vape tank couldn't hold anything near that many puffs.
These are all 4,000, 15,000, which is illegal. A whole display, not even hidden.
Whilst we seize the vapes, Griff the dog is onto something. There's a shower room at the back of the shop. Griff is given an indication. That's what he's been trained to do if his nose tells him there's tobacco nearby. But I can't see anywhere it could be. But Stuart has seen how devious some hides are. He thinks there's a hidden opening that needs to be triggered. A quick search reveals this car fob. One push and... amazing.
We've managed to get the door open, and as you can see, Griff has found the gold. No messing, straight in there. What you got, Griff? What we got? What have we got in here? All this, what is it? What we got? What's all this? What we got? Yeah, and as you can see, total stash hidden behind the shower cubicle. There's no hiding from Griff, is there?
I've seen a lot of clever hiding places through my work in the SAS, but this is new for me. A hydraulic arm powering a secret door in a shower. Whoever set this up has gone to great lengths to hide the contraband.
Good boy.
Back upstairs, the team have found just how successful this illicit business is.
Right about £4,000 worth of cash.
And there are issues with a man working here.
This chap, he's got no right to work in the UK, so was reported to immigration for those offences and is on immigration bail, of which he has breached again today. So
what money is this guy been turning over? What's he making weekly?
when asked how much, he said £4,000, and that would be his turnover in a week.
Well, £4,000?
Just from here.
Wow.
Everything is bagged up to be taken away, but the shopkeeper isn't happy about it.
How come you taking them one?
These are all illegal. You can't have any of these.
No. This is completely different story with this side. Seriously. You cannot take them one. No, please.
Those, but the rest are gone.
They are legal in the market. You cannot have this one. No, seriously, you cannot.
Ironic from a man with a hide in his shell.
He's getting all aggressive now about what they can take and what they can't take. Basically, he can take it all because it's illegal. And he's trying to put up a little argument or fight against them taking anything. He has the audacity to try and stop them doing their job.
But nothing will stop the team from confiscating the enormous haul of illicit goods here. And Stuart's got another task to complete before we leave.
Now Stuart's going to deny them the opportunity of ever using that again. So that's going to get dismantled, and as you can see, he's just preparing his equipment ready to do that.
In the SAS, we have a saying: find, fix, strike. This is part of the strike, making the secret hiding place unusable.
There's no point leaving it because they'll use it again. So I've taken out the electrics and taken out the shelving, electromagnets, decommissioned all those. And then this is part of the hydraulic ram that was opening and closing the door.
All that's left is for the contraband to be taken away.
So that is all the illegal tobacco now taken out of the store, bagged up, tagged, into storage. It'll go into a secure lockup where it will be documented, counted, and then finally destroyed.
The man behind the counter has been removed from the shop. He had no right to work, and the shop is shut down for now. Disrupting the network, that's what it's all about.
So a great day on the streets of Kent today with the Kent Police and Trading Standards. 3 jobs, 3 tasks, 3 successes, job done. The pursuit of illegal profits often leads to criminals hiding their spoils. As an elite soldier, I was taught to search for visual clues. But over the years, I've learned firsthand, it's sometimes better to follow your nose. Sometimes a stakeout can lead to catching a big fish. I've worked throughout the world, training soldiers to spot and stop poaching. It's also a problem here in the UK, and it needs a very active military-style operation.
He's proudly displaying his catch of a wild salmon, which he caught in the River Teefy. He and his friends are adept fishermen, as his photograph collection shows. But these fish weren't caught legally. This man is a notorious poacher, and that's what brought these pictures to the attention of Jeremy Goddard and the team at Natural Resources Wales. They police unlicensed fishing on the country's rivers.
Illegal fishing activity is very difficult to kind of police because you're talking about kind of activity which generally happens at night time and also in the very rural areas as well. So it's easy for people to kind of go below the kind of radar.
In the army, I carried out more covert patrols than I can possibly remember. The teams from Natural Resources Wales are doing the same on the nation's rivers. Salmon and trout on the River Teefy in Wales have declined in recent years, so there is a catch and release policy, but that doesn't suit the poachers. On one night patrol, eagle-eyed water bailiffs noticed rope and nets by the riverbank and immediately suspected a poacher was at work. They did what I would do and set up surveillance on the area. After many hours of waiting, that notorious poacher arrived and started pulling fish from the net illegally.
It was at that point then that one of our officers approached Reese, telling him that what the bailiffs in front of the standstill. Obviously startled, he kind of reacted and then jumped straight into the kind of River Teefy.
Emlyn Reese literally swam away, but officers knew who it was and arrested him at his house.
Then the enforcement officers from NRW entered the property and did a search of the property. What they found there was a huge kind of collection of illegal fishing equipment in terms of nets, which were consistent with the type of structure of the nets that had been found on site.
A lot of fishermen like to photograph their catch, and this poacher was no exception. But these pictures proved to be his undoing.
The main piece of evidence they found was ledgers, which Mr. Rees had been keeping. He had detailed kind of photographs of previous catches, weights of fish, numbers of fish, etc. And within this, there were 373 entries of illegal fishing with no licence netting. There were 989 sea trout, 302 salmon entries. It was absolute goldmine to us, really. Without that, we wouldn't have known the actual scale of this kind of illegal operation.
The poacher wasn't expecting a proactive patrol along the river, but the team worked out what effect he'd had on the ecosystem.
That's a loss of 690,000 salmon eggs from the river ecosystem and 2.2 million sea trout eggs. So obviously from those figures you can see how impactful this was on two iconic species which are in significant decline.
His ledgers showed he was selling fish at £3 a pound. For his crimes, he received a confiscation order for over £60,000. That's how much he'll have to pay back to the government for the fish he took. But if it weren't for bailiffs doing an old-school foot patrol like I used to do, the poacher would still be scuppering fish stocks. Later, I'll be showing you another ingenious way the poachers themselves are being caught.
I'm in awe of people who use their own experience of crime to help others, especially when they're focused on improving children's lives.
Martial arts expert and coach, Pete Martin from Redditch, has dedicated his life to volunteering.
I've been involved with knife crime extensively alongside West Mercia Police for 10 years. I visit schools and colleges, I educate young people about the dangers of knife crime. In the last 10 years, unfortunately, knife crime in our country has risen by approximately 80%, which is a huge increase in what is a very traumatic crime in itself.
Pete has good reason to try and put kids off carrying blades. When he was younger, he witnessed his friend being stabbed, and he's had to learn ways of coping with the trauma he saw.
It's taken me many years to be able to deal with it. I'm still a bit traumatised now, but I have learnt coping strategies, and by helping others, that has in a way been a part of my therapy and a part of my counselling. And hopefully my own life experiences come across to those people that I have been where they've been, and I can help them in a positive manner.
As well as assemblies, Pete also uses his martial arts expertise to help youngsters with his Jabs Not Stabs program.
Ready for it?
Yeah, man.
Let's do it. Keep that head moving, there we go, that's better.
Done anyway.
Could have gone.
Libby started training with Pete after her cousin was murdered.
Losing someone like that, it just crumbles you. It really turns your life upside down, really does. Really affects you.
But just when Libby really needed it, she saw Pete's flyer.
It was just weird that that letter come through that door for me to meet Pete, who is perfect for my situation to dig me out of that hole and to make my life better. It was just like, it was a message from the universe just to help, really.
You're punching low, aren't you? That makes it hard work.
By the end of the session, you just feel a bit better about life. You get to get things off your chest in a different way that's not just talking about it, and you don't want things to eat you up, and that's what Pete's really good at, is making you express yourself in a different light, in a different way.
Punch that pad, number 2. Right, okay. If you are training with somebody and getting to know them through a physical activity, it breaks down the barrier and you become friends, and then you can have open, honest conversations.
It's been about 2-3 years I've known Pete now, and life's going good. I've got an 8-month-old baby, starting my own business. Future looks good.
All of Pete's work at the gym or in schools is interactive and direct.
So this is what's going to happen. George is going to stab me many times as he likes.
And he always has a surprising and compelling end to each of his talks.
I believe carrying a knife is singly probably the worst thing you can do for your own self-protection. Many young people a year get stabbed by their own weapon. Good. Do not attack me until I say go. Is everybody okay with that? Yeah. So when I say so. Nothing will ever be safer than avoidance of violence. So, the only tactic I've discovered that has any real chance of keeping you safe is to not be there. If you are not there, you cannot be stabbed. It's not rocket science.
Pete works tirelessly and helps countless children. It's amazing to see how one person can make such a difference.
There are some crimes that happen right in front of us and we don't even realise it. But like in the SAS, when the police get a lead, they follow the trail and take down the perpetrators. Today, we're with the City of London Police and we're going after suspected counterfeiters. Some big luxury brands are being faked. Bad news for the consumer. Unsafe, unethical and untested. These products are flooding our markets. We're going after these suspects and today they're going to get more than they bargained for.
Trading counterfeited goods has risen over the last few years and has cost the UK economy over £9 billion in lost revenue. The specialist team I'm meeting are based in the City of London, but their remit is national, investigating fraud across the whole of the country.
Good morning everyone, thank you for attending today. The intention this morning is to arrest the 2 individuals and search for counterfeit goods, digital devices that may contain evidence in relation to the ordering and importation of counterfeit goods, and also counterfeit goods themselves.
These criminals have a sophisticated MO. To make sales, they advertise online and take payment. To distribute the goods, they have a secret shop. Only paying customers are told the location. The tip-off for this operation came from one of the luxury brands who went undercover.
Chanel did an investigation into the group and they identified a group that was selling, advertising fake goods on Telegram, Snapchat and WhatsApp, and carried out a test purchase at the location we're attending today.
It's not just the police using SAS tactics to catch criminals. This secret filming shows the covert surveillance techniques used by the luxury brand. Today's suspect might be a small operator, but it could link to bigger, more organised crime. I'm keen to find out more from Matt, who's heading up the operation.
Other than economic, what is the real problem with counterfeit stuff?
So the counterfeit goods, they're untested at the end of the day, so they could be potentially dangerous. The clothing, for instance, may not be fire retardant, those sorts of things. There's potentially counterfeit perfume. You don't know what's in that perfume and people putting that on their skin. So these things can be dangerous.
It's the ethical side of it as well. Slave labour and where these things are coming from. You're supporting it by buying this stuff. That's
exactly it.
Problem.
I mean, you're buying this stuff and it might not seem a big deal, but however, there's a bigger picture around that. You know, we've got instances where this type type of trade. It supplies other criminality, terrorism, firearms, guns, drugs, other criminal gangs. And so there is a much bigger picture to this.
I actually find this really fascinating. The level that these people will go to advertise it, market it, and then have actually a shop, secret shop set up where people then get invited to go like you would on the high street. It's done very, very professionally, just like you would legitimately, but this is totally illegal.
I've had my fair share of dealing with illegal counterfeit activity as an SAS operator, and I know how hard it can be to distinguish real from fake. The team are hitting multiple targets simultaneously today. The so-called shop on the industrial unit and other addresses linked to the suspects. The illegal shop is on the outskirts of London.
So that's the vehicles now just arriving on the target location. This is the final approach now.
From team leader, team 1 is in position.
Team 2 at position.
Yeah, okay.
So that's the team's in position now. Matt's just checking as the team leader that everybody's ready to go.
Team 3 ready to go.
From team leader, strike.
The whole investigation all comes down to this. Will the team find what they're looking for? On the outskirts of London, the team are ready to strike at the suspected counterfeit shop. We head to the specific unit. Lights are off, but the team have a warrant and are coming in.
Police! Police, a search warrant!
Method of entry? They've been given the master key by the building's owner.
Is there any lights inside? It's clear in here. We have got no suspects on premises, over.
The unit is empty of suspects, but it's full to the brim with luxury clothing and accessories.
So this is a secret shop. We made soft entry and there's no suspects actually in here at the moment, but as you can see, all the merchandise, everything from shoes to labels to belts, it's all here. And this is almost like a showroom, and in the back there's just boxes and boxes. This is actually a lot more than I was expecting. A lot of money's worth here.
But while the raid of the shop looks promising, across London, Dan is leading a second strike team who are going after the suspects. This team also try a soft entry.
Hello, it's the police. Can you open up? Oh, someone there. Yeah, someone there. Hello, sorry to disturb you. How you doing? City Police.
And the person they're looking for answers the door.
Gilberto, we need to come in. We've got a warrant. I'll speak to you. Okay? Okay. At this time, I'm going to arrest you. Okay? I'm going to arrest you in relation to this matter, which is a fraud matter.
With the suspect taken in for questioning, the team search for evidence at the address that could link him to the counterfeit operation.
A number of mobile phones seized, 4 in total. Some documents in relation to the business address have been seized. There appears to be financial lines of inquiry, a number of SIM cards also. And when we say documents, we have links to the said business, the social media platform there that's seized from the bedroom within the premises. A notebook, hopefully it links into the rest of the operation that's been going on.
The team also found and seized a PDQ machine, usually found in shops to take payments.
We can make inquiries with the relevant banks, but that gives us another financial line of inquiry alongside the bank cards that we found.
The search of the flat is complete, but Dan's team also found keys to a rental car in the suspect's name.
Dad, mobile phone.
One mobile phone, Samsung Android, found by the officer in this vehicle.
There's another machine here.
Another payment machine and another mobile phone. It's these electronic connections and online data, the digital footprint, that can make or break an evidential case.
Yeah, but in this case, with the social media platforms that we're seeing, it's fundamental really, and digital evidence and presenting that to the court. We've got the technology and dedicated digital forensic investigators that will produce reports and statements and evidence bundles in relation to each of those social media platforms. So yeah, it's pretty forensic, should I say.
But investigations also rely on physical evidence, what's right in front of you. And today, that all hinges on the items in the shop. Are they real or fake? Back at the counterfeit raid, the team is starting to get to grips with the amount of potential contraband here.
Top of the range, expensive goods like Canada Goose, as you can see here. All the latest brands and fashions. Gucci.
But it's not enough to assume it's all counterfeit. The team need hard proof, and the only way to do that is to bring in the experts. Graham Mogg works for a company who carries out investigations on behalf of the brands. He's examined the clothes and given his assessment. They are counterfeit.
How do you know this is fake?
Well, a lot of it is down to quality. These are quite high quality counterfeits, but there are markers within each one of these products that will identify that they're fake.
Right.
A lot of the brands will have tools and utilise facilities to identify a counterfeit good. So they'll have markers within the clothing, they'll have security details that we can identify from. Some of these products won't have any care labels, so every product sold in the UK has to have a care label to make sure that people know how to treat them and how they should wear them.
They're always leaving little mistakes, little telltale signs, which tells you that's fake.
Yeah, that's right. And the brands change all the time. It's all about innovation. So once the counterfeiters innovate and change the ways they deal with the problem and make the goods, the brands try to be one step ahead in relation to the security features to enable us to be able to identify the products.
The quantity of goods here is staggering.
Then you've got Burberry.
The gang have thought of everything. Even the packaging is high-end fake.
You know, it's like going to Harrods and buying an Harrods bag. You've got Louis Vuitton bags. They've gone to that extreme. And even boxes like this, look, all the wrapping, exactly as it would for genuine stuff. Even the packaging internally is exactly as it would be if you bought real Louis Vuitton. And the items are there, all wrapped up inside.
An untrained eye might think these items are genuine. The gang have gone to great lengths to try and ensure their fakes go under the radar.
So it's even got the QR scan and a number that you can validate online. So not only is this a counterfeit item, they've actually counterfeited the CERTA logo scan as well, which is mad. So it's quite an advanced operation.
The QR code could lead a customer to believe it's genuine. High-tech duplicity with a high price tag.
So what sort of value we're talking? What money?
Well, if they were genuine items, the quality of goods and the range of brands that they got here, if they were genuine items, you're talking £1.5 million worth of product.
In this small space here, what we see, £1 million?
In this small space. Some of the projects here, £5,000 items individually. So collectively, they're going to be quite a high value. And even from a counterfeiting perspective, the potential gain is quite high for the counterfeiter. But yeah, retail value, £1 million, £1.5 million.
Wow, that's shocking.
£1 million to £1.5 million. That's the retail value if the goods were genuine. But even selling these as fakes, there's a lot of money being made across this operation.
What would you say to the people buying this, particularly the younger generation who follow the fashion?
But you're putting yourself at harm and you're putting yourself at risk. You never know what type of clothing you're putting on. But we always say, stay genuine, buy real, don't buy fakes, and don't follow influencers that tell you to buy fakes.
Yeah.
Because that's all they are doing is making money.
They're even targeting kids. You know, he's all a fashion designs for little children. You don't know what the kids are putting on their body, what they're putting next to their skin. None of this has been tested.
Every single item here will need to be confiscated and checked. And that means packing it all up. It's a huge task. But it's still just a small part of this massive counterfeit network. Temporary Commissioner Pete O'Doherty knows the wider picture.
The income these people achieve, it's the second biggest source of criminal income, second only to drugs worldwide, so it's massive.
So, I mean, obviously there's a massive ethical side to this that people don't take into account when you're buying it. People are just looking for a bargain, if you like.
Yeah, absolutely.
And all of the
Yeah, so many of these cases, a lot of this counterfeit goods, they are produced in bulk in factories, particularly in places like China or Turkey. And these are warehouses that use either people being forced to labour or young people, a lot of exploitation, human trafficking, slave labour. And that's what sits behind all of this. So I would urge anyone knowingly buying a counterfeit item to think about where this has come from and the impacts on people. It's huge.
But the team are hoping today's operation has at least in part broken the chain.
This all goes off to storage. It's probably going to have to be examined by more brands and that to confirm it's counterfeit. We've got lots of work to do. We've still got interviews to carry on. We've got to look at financials, things like that to work out exactly how much money this criminal gang is making out of this operation.
What were your key aims at the start today?
The key aims really were, one, to seize all the counterfeit goods, to take them off the market. And the other objectives really is to arrest those responsible. We've arrested one, one's outstanding, and we will get that achieved in time.
Absolutely fantastic day today. £1 million of counterfeit off the streets. One suspect arrested. Big shout out to Matt and the City of London Police. Absolutely great job. Counterfeit is big business, but it's also against the law. Breaking the supply chain is a surefire way of taking down the enemy once and for all.